Hello and welcome, everyone. I am so excited that you are here. I am a little bit nervous because I'm new to teaching in this way, and I'm used to being able to edit my videos. So if I start to talk a little bit quickly, just know I am a little bit nervous. I will get more comfortable and I will slow down. I am so excited to have each one of you here and the homes and families that you represent. And I'm really excited to be hearing how you guys are balancing your motherhood and homemaking, as well as what God does with your desire to grow in your skills. I want to go ahead and let you know up front, I do have notes here to the side because as an ADHD person, I can get distracted or on a tangent. And so I just want to make sure that I am being a good steward of your time and staying focused. So if you see me looking to the side, just know that I do have notes. I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit about who I am. So if you need some water or grab your coffee, go ahead and do that. This is a great time. So a little bit about who I am. My name is Cassidy. I have been on YouTube teaching and sharing, just trying to help moms simplify their homemaking and motherhood, trying to offer any help that I can in just how to implement the right systems and routines specifically. But I also talk a lot about like meal planning and routines and then those sorts of things. So that might be how you have seen me around on the social media and YouTube place. Now I am going to go into a little bit of the backstory of who I am and why I am here teaching and sharing about motherhood and homemaking specifically. When so as growing up, I was raised by a single mom who was somebody who struggled with addiction and alcoholism and didn't really have any healthy relationships. She was married twice, but they were very toxic. And it was not a Christian home, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. And so I was saved later on in life. When I became a mom, I was actually 18 when I got pregnant, and I was a single mom until I reached to a point that I felt like maybe it was time. I actually met my husband. Well, now husband. We got pregnant, we got married, and I'm just so thankful for him. But it's been a lot of work trying to undo some of those toxic, unhealthy ideas and mindsets that I had growing up with a single mom and just not having healthy relationships. And so that's a little bit about like my upbringing. I am the mother of 7 kids, which is kind of crazy to me. It's everything that I always thought it would be and never thought it could be. I always wanted to be a mom. Growing back as far back as I can remember, there was like not a career that I really wanted to do. I just wanted to be a mom and a good one, invested and present. And so I have 7 kids ranging from the ages of 1 all the way up to 16. And I met my husband when my daughter was 3. We got married. Like I said, we got pregnant and got married inside of Waukegan, Illinois, which is right outside of Navy boot camp. And so that's how that got started. I sorry, I lost my train of thought, guys. Okay, we're coming up on our 13-year anniversary. Actually, in a couple days, I took my watch off, so I'm not distracted. But on the 30th, we're going to actually be celebrating our 13-year anniversary, which is wild and exciting. It's been a lot of work for us to create a healthy relationship and a thriving marriage. We've had to, it didn't come easy to us. And so celebrating 13 years is super exciting to me. After we got married and my son was 6 weeks old, we relocated down to San Diego, where I was saved and actually baptized in the ocean, which was an incredibly memorable experience. I don't think I'll ever forget that one. And that's where I started my military wife career. We spent 12 years in San Diego while my husband was in the military. And he decided that in order for him to be a good steward and a leader leader of his family, leaving the military was the right choice. And that's what brings us here to Idaho. We relocated here a couple years ago, and we are really enjoying it. It's just now started to snow, which is not my favorite thing, being a California girl, but I'm learning to love it. And, we have a healthy marriage, and I'm really enjoying, and I have joy with homemaking and motherhood. So that's a little bit about who I am, what's going on in my life, and how I got started in my mothering journey and homemaking. I've always had a heart for moms, starting obviously with my own mom. Being a single mom is not an easy thing. It's, you see a lot of just pain and struggle and hardship. And I just really didn't have a lot of help getting started. I lost my mom coming up in January 12 years ago, right after I had my second born. And then a few years after that, I lost my grandmother. So the people that were naturally there to like mentor and teach, I lost early on in my motherhood career. And I've had people in my life to help guide me and answer questions, but I've really had to figure a lot of this stuff out for myself. And I want to help those moms who are just now getting started, who may not know what to do and how to do and troubleshoot. And that's where my passion lies, is just helping women, helping moms make it more enjoyable and more simple so that they can focus on what really matters, their families, their children. And so that's what brings me here to this workshop. And just to give you a short outline of what we're going to be talking about today, I got to put this notebook down. I'm sorry, guys. This is just throwing me off. So a short workshop outline. Okay, so we're going to talk mindset, because I find that oftentimes a lot of our troubles are actually around our mindset, and how biblically we can use scriptures and God's word to guide our mindset and help us when we're having challenges or we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or dealing with that mom guilt. I'm also going to talk a little bit about mom guilt, and then we're going to get into the practical tools that I've learned over the last 16 years that help me to deal with that overwhelm and the stress, and balancing the motherhood and the homemaking portion of everything, which is why we're here. And then before a short Q&A where you guys are going to be able to ask your specific questions, or present some clarifying questions, whatever it is, or giving some more specifics to your situation so I can speak to that, I'm going to go ahead and share a mentoring opportunity that I have available in a group coaching setting. And so if you are here live right now, thank you for joining me. If you're not live and you're catching this on the replay, watching it later, know that I will get to your comments and questions at a later time. Obviously, being a mom of 7 kiddos, it might take a little bit of time. It might take a few days, but I will be going through the comments and responding to everybody as much as I can. So, if you're here live right now, would you mind commenting down below what is your biggest challenge when it comes to motherhood or homemaking, or specifically, what is your greatest struggle with balancing the two? I'm looking in the chat to see if anybody says anything. If you need some ideas, some of the common things that I hear, I have some sample questions here, is how can I balance motherhood and homemaking with self-care, feeling like I'm not getting taken care of? And what are some practical tips for staying organized with a busy household? What are some effective ways for establishing a morning or evening routine with a family? How can I simplify meal planning and meal prep? This is something that I'm really passionate about because it has really changed a lot for me, and it saves me a lot of time and stress. And so I'll be getting into that in a little bit. Or how about like just better time management or boosting productivity. So juggling all the balls of life and motherhood at the same time. Yes, I know that for me specifically, I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm a homeschooler, so I'm here with the kids all day. So there are unique challenges with the mom that is working, whether they're working at home, which could be probably a little bit more chaotic, or the mom's working outside of that. So that's definitely a struggle. Lots of list and practice. I struggle with routines for sure. Definitely establishing those routines will really help us, but setting it up and getting into a consistency is actually, it's really hard. It takes 21 days to actually create a habit. To create a routine, it would take 28 or 21 days. And as you continue to do that routine and you continue to be consistent in it, you will thicken up that roadway of the habit and it'll become easier. But what can we do, right, in balancing the motherhood and homemaking and those routines to create those little habits? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on also. Thank you for commenting and, just responding and engaging with me. I really appreciate that. If again, you are catching this on the replay, I will go through and I'll kind of address these things. I just want to make sure that you know that you are here and I see you and I hear you. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up in prayer before we start this workshop. We are here to biblically learn how to balance motherhood and homemaking. And so I just want to go ahead and open us up in prayer first. So, Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity to come alongside these women. I thank you for each one of their homes and families that they represent and their desire to grow in their skills and their talents, Lord, in managing their homes with efficiency and effectiveness while also cultivating joy. I pray that you would hear this prayer, that you would bless these women and their homes and families with their desire. You say, Lord, if we ask, you will give. The desires of our hearts. And we desire, Lord, to seek your glory and honor while caring for our homes. And we pray for your help in this. I pray, Lord, as I am presenting this workshop and providing these tips and tools for these women, that I would speak clearly, that I would speak slow, that my nerves would be calmed, and that I would ultimately speak truth and love to them and equipping them with what you have already given them and their abilities. I pray all of this in the Lord's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, thank you for that. That will actually helps me feel a little bit more at ease. So let's go ahead and talk mindset. Okay, so I'm going to share a scripture, and this is kind of going to be the basis of where I'm coming from with my mindset and why I find it super, super important as moms and homemakers to make sure that we have the right mindset. So in Philippians 4, verse 8, it says, "Finally, brothers or sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there are any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think on these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." All throughout scripture, it talks about renewing your mind, taking your thoughts captive, making sure that you're focusing on the right things, the good things, the pure things. Being a mother and a homemaker is such an important and valuable role that you're playing. You are literally raising up the next generation of Christians and people. And when we sit here and we get lost in the negative thoughts, if we start complaining, focusing on what isn't working, how we are feeling, or where we're not seeing progress, you're going to have this constant negative self-talk track playing in your head. And pretty soon you're going to notice nothing good. You're going to only notice the bad things. You're going to only notice the hardships, the challenges, the work that's going unappreciated. But when you renew your mind and you focus on the beauty and the gift and the honor that it is to be a mother and to be able to invest in these small people and to love them by caring for them, making the meals, cleaning up, doing the laundry, all of those things, you won't see it as an inconvenience. You'll see it as a gift. And I have found that this has actually been the most important piece and aspect of my peaceful and joyful homemaking. When I decided to turn my head away from all of the negative things, the challenging things, the hard things, the stressful things, and being overwhelmed by all of that had to be done, I realized that, I'm just doing the next best thing. I'm choosing to honor God in this role that He has uniquely gifted me with. He has put me here on purpose. He has given me these children on purpose. Each and every one of them is a gift. And I'm here to love them and spur them on. And so I want to share a couple more verses just to kind of like just to reinforce the concept of renewing our minds and the mindsets as moms and homemakers. So next up, we have 1 Corinthians. I did mark these, but I have to find them all. Okay, so 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. This is normally you will hear these verses when you are getting married, which I do think is extremely important. However, I find it extremely valuable as a mom and a homemaker as well. And this is 1 Corinthians 13, 4, 7. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant. It is not rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Now, I actually have this verse in my bathroom because I find that if I love my family like I say I do, then what does love look like? It isn't, just the cooking and the cleaning. It's the attitude behind it. You are the center and the heart of your family and home. You set the tone. And it's really important to know what love is. We're not sitting here focusing on the bad. We're not sitting here focusing on the wrongdoings or the unnoticed work or challenges that we're dealing with. We are going to sit here and we are going to endure because God asks us to and also helps us, which gets me into the third verse I'm going to be sharing, which is Galatians 6:9. And this one says, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So then, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are in the household of faith. If you are a Christian mother, I'm assuming that you also have a Christian household and Christian children, and they are in the house of faith. So how much more are you going to love them and care for them and sacrifice for them and do the hard things for them than anyone else? Our first ministries are our home and our families, and that's where our first fruits should be going through. And yes, it is challenging. Like, I am not going to sit here and be like, oh no, it's all sunshine, rainbows, and happy things. It's not. There is a lot of hardships. It can be very stressful and overwhelming. But we need to not grow weary in doing good things. We need to not grow weary or tired of doing the daily tasks that motherhood and homemaking have, because, well, one, God asks us not to. He tells us that it's not good for us to do that. And we will also reap the harvest. Our work, our investment isn't going unnoticed, even though we might think it is. God sees and He knows, and He says that He is going to reward us for this hard work, that there will come a time where we will be repaid for our hard work. And so we need to not grow weary in doing that. And then the final verse I want to share as far as mindset goes is Isaiah 41:10. And this one's a little bit easier because it's not with all of my tabs. Okay, so Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. What good news and peace and hope we have as Christians, as Christian mothers and homemakers, that God is with us. He is right there in the midst of the troubles, in the hardships, in the dishes and the laundry and the dirty diapers and all of the things. Like, God is with us in all of this. He is helping us, He is guiding us, and He is strengthening us. If He has equipped you or given you the role to be a mom and a homemaker, then know that He is also helping you to do these things. If God calls you to it, He's not going to leave you in it. He is right there with you. And all you need to do is lean on Him and ask for His help. And a big part of like the mindset is we're trying to build these roadways of positive thoughts, right? And create that positive self-talk, and speaking scriptures is a really great way to do that. And that's why I provided these scriptures with you, so that you can meditate and think on them, but also prayer. There are going to be times where we are completely overwhelmed or frustrated or angry or whatever it is that we're dealing with. We do have emotions. God has given us emotions. We feel those things. But what do we do with those emotions? We shouldn't be acting out or behaving through those emotions, letting them control us. We need to control our emotions. And if we need help, God is there to help. So you only need to ask. All you have to do is pray, and He is right there with you, and He will give you relief and peace. He's our refuge. And so as a Christian homemaker and a mother, that is where I get my a lot of people will ask you, like, how do you do it, right? Like, as a mom of 7, we get a lot of questions, and most of the time it consists of, how do you do it all? Well, I don't do it all. And I have the help of my God and Father guiding me through and giving me all that I need to get through the hardships and the challenges. And there are times where it's like, okay, this is just too much. I need to take a step back, and I just sit in prayer or sit in silence or sit in the chaos with the kids. And so I just wanted to go ahead and equip you guys with a few verses that you can meditate and focus on throughout this idea of renewing our minds and refocusing our mindsets. And then because we're kind of talking mindsets, I want to go ahead and get into the mom guilt. Hold on one second. A little dry. Mom guilt is something that I have, like, I don't know a single mom that has not dealt with mom guilt in some kind of way. I specifically have dealt with mom guilt. Like I said, I mentioned earlier in the get to know me part that I was a single mom. And when I got started, I mean, even my mom thought I was foolish for getting pregnant so young. It wasn't like I thought it was a great idea, but I chose to honor my now child, my daughter. And that's part of my story. That's part of who I am. But there was a huge pressure to try to live up to my own expectations, what I thought the world was judging me on. Because like I said, being 18 and a single mom, there is a lot of judgment. There are a lot of people with opinions about that. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not recommending it. It was extremely hard, and I learned a lot through it. So I'm thankful for it. But if I could do it again, I would not do it. I would not be a single mom. I don't know if I mean, 18 was a little too young for me, I feel like. But it really helped me grow up, and it really changed the trajectory of my life. And so I'm super thankful for that. However, being a single mom is not easy. And I dealt with a lot of that mom guilt, a lot of feelings of pressure, oh my gosh, not feeling like I'm enough in, I cannot think of the word. Anyways, and I felt like I have to prove myself. I had to prove that I did the right thing. I had to prove that I was a good mom. And even after, getting married, my husband was in the military focusing on his career. And I was doing a lot of the parenting solo, like the majority of the parenting solo. And again, having my husband in the military and still feeling like I have that single mom life, even though I was married and he supported me. It felt like I was still doing it alone. And without my mother's guidance or, people that I valued their opinion of speaking into my life, I dealt with mom guilt greatly. So I don't say any of this without first understanding how it can just plague your mind and um, really hurt, right? But here's the thing about mom guilt. In no other profession do you hear about guilt. There is no, construction guilt. There is no lawyer guilt. Well, maybe there is, guilt, but they don't feel like they don't have this constant like guilt plaguing them. And there's two things that I think about mom guilt. One is if you are feeling like the overwhelm, the pressure, the stress of mom guilt, it's because you understand the value and importance of being a mom, which is a good thing. Not the guilt, but just understanding that your role is important and lives are affected by what you do is important. And I think that that is like our inner compass of understanding that we are important, our job is important, our work is important, and it matters. And so I think that that is a good indication that you're on the right track. Now, as far as mom guilt goes, in the other sense, I feel like there is absolutely no place for guilt or shame in motherhood or homemaking. We are doing good work, we're doing the best that we can. And guilt and shame is not of God. I actually have a verse here that I want to share. It's in First John 3:20. Let me just go ahead and flip on over. Sorry, 3:20, not 2:20. Um, so it says here, for whenever our heart condemns us, God is greater than our hearts and he knows everything. Here's the thing, like we as Christians, we're not condemned. We have freedom in Christ. We have been forgiven and there is no condemnation in Christ. And so we have to get rid of this idea of being guilty or having shame when it comes to our motherhood. This idea that we're failing or not enough, which gets into the other portion of mom guilt, right? Like mom guilt stems from a few different things. Either we're not feeling like we're enough, that we're failing, which is, we are humans. We are imperfect. Only Christ is perfect. And so we probably are messing up and we probably are failing in some aspect or another. But that's where the freedom in Christ comes, right? That's where the hope of Christ comes in. And we should have peace when we know that because we are going to mess up. We're going to miss things. We're not going to do it perfectly. However, Christ covers our inaccuracies. Oh my gosh, I cannot say that word, but Christ covers our imperfectness, right? He fills in the gaps. We have all that we need. If there is something that our children need from us, to learn from us, to be guided from us, if we're walking out and living like a Christian and doing what is according to his word, we're doing all that we need to do and God will bless that and he'll fill in the gaps. So stressing over not being enough or being inept, that's the word. Yeah, inadequacy. Woo, if I slow down, I could say it. Thank you, Ashley. But this idea of we're not enough and we're feeling is just it's a lie from the devil. Like we need to just get rid of it because Christ is enough and we have what we need in him. So there's that. Now comes the other portion and what I kind of talked about in the beginning of the pressures, right? The stress and the pressures that are put on us, whether it's by ourselves, by our families, by society, there are these real pressures to be able to perform in some way. However, if it's not our own doing and it's from the outside world, we need to be careful because it is usually out of comparison or out of perfectionism. And comparison is the thief of all joy, right? If you are sitting here focusing on what somebody else is doing in their home or how another mother is parenting or meal planning or whatever it is, we have absolutely no way of understanding or knowing what is going on in their life. We are just getting the Pinterest, Instagram, reels version of what is going on in their life could be literally falling apart. And this is like the one thing that is working or something. You know what I mean? Like if we sit here and we're thinking about what everybody else is doing in their homes, we're not focused on what we're doing in our homes. We're not doing what we ought to be doing and the work that is at hand in front of us. While there is obviously value in seeing how somebody else is doing something and wanting to learn from them, comparing yourself to them and trying to live up to a standard you think they have is not going to be helpful. It's just going to fuel that mom guilt. And so just focus on you, your home, and your family, the skills and abilities that you have, and just doing your best. And not looking, the grass is greener on the other side and how perfectly that they're doing it. Obviously, if you need to learn or grow in your skills, by all means, reach out and ask and let them know, hey, I really like the way that you handled this situation. I really like the way that you prep your meals, or I love how you guys, you're sharing about your routine. Can you teach me some of these things? Or what is your advice? What are your tips? How did you get started in this? There's absolutely value in that. But comparing yourself, it's just going to rob you of your joy, rob you of your focus, and drain your energy. And there's just no point in it. And then as far as perfectionism, which is part of my mom guilt, right? Like I'm trying to be the perfect mom. When I first got started, I still have times where I'm struggling with this. This is not something that I've overcome yet. I'm still running the race as far as, dealing with mom guilt and the perfectionism goes. But trying to be the perfect mom or to live up to the standard that I have created in my head. I actually, when my husband and I first got married, we thought 4 kids was like the perfect number. He came from a family of 4 siblings, like him and his siblings. And then same with me, where I have 3 other sisters. And so there's 4 of us. And we just thought, oh, this is the perfect number. And now here I am with 7 kids, which I am so thankful and honored. And like, I cannot believe this is my life. And I have so much joy with it. It's just not what I thought. And, or expected that was going to happen in my life. And so a lot of it is just learning that my expectations are unrealistic. They're like, if I'm going to care for my home and care for my children and do all of the things that motherhood and homemaking in require, I'm going to have to lower my standard a little bit. There are going to be things that I'm just not going to be able to live up to, and at least in this season, right? Like when I have a baby and 2 toddlers and we're homeschooling and teenagers and like all of the things that are going on in our house, it's just unrealistic. And I think that when you acknowledge that and then let that go, we will often have expectations and it doesn't happen, but God has a plan for us, each one of us, and nothing happens by happen chance. Nothing is happening by, just coincidence. This is all planned for a purpose, for our good. And if letting go of your expectations or a standard that you used to have or were able to have, then like that is going to serve you well. There's actually kind of a chunk in my kids between kid 4 and kid 5. There's a little bit of a chunk there. And so I kind of had like leveled out where I didn't have, a stroller and diaper bags, and we were potty trained, and like it was easy, and I got used to not having all of the toddler messes and the drawings on the wall and stuff like that. And so now when I came back into that more recently and back into that season of like, these are the things that we're dealing with, and looking around like, why is my house so messy? I don't understand. Like I'm doing all the right things, but I'm finding drawings on the walls, and I'm constantly having to clean up or pick up the living room floor. Like I can't get on top of these things. And it's that realization of like, oh yeah, this is the season that you're in. There is going to be constant messes because you have curious toddlers who are trying to figure things out. And that's good. And that's okay, and we do our best. And so I just want to go ahead like and share one more verse with Romans 8:1. This one I didn't mark, I don't think, but it's pretty easy to find. And I feel like a lot of people know Romans 8:1, at least in the Christian realm of things. I'm going to go ahead and take a sip real quick. So Where is it? There it is. Okay, there is therefore no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So just be reminded and know that there is no condemnation for you. You're not gonna like you're not letting anybody down by not getting certain things. Like obviously have a standard and wanna, have a clean house and provide the meals and the laundry and stuff like that. But don't feel condemned. um Conviction and condemnation is two very different things. And conviction is this idea of, like, the Holy Spirit is convicting you of, you know I should probably really be doing this, and I could probably do a little bit more with my time, or maybe I need to grow a little bit more in this, or seeing somebody else doing something and be like, "Oh yeah, like I could totally do that." Condemnation is feeling like, "Oh, if I don't do this, I'm going to be letting everybody down. If my home's not clean when everybody comes over, they're going to think badly of me." Like that is condemnation. That is not conviction. And so just know that there is no condemnation in Christ. You are free, and live in that. And I am praying for you. Each one of you, I'm praying for you, because I know how big of a joy killer stiller, like Liz said, a joy robber. um and it's just not worth your time, and it'll steal your joy. So let's move on from mom guilt, and talk about the practical tools that we can use to balance motherhood and homemaking. um, I want to go ahead. So before, in the beginning of the live, we kind of talked about, balancing or wearing all of the hats of motherhood and homemaking and how to do that. Mentioned a few other questions of just like, how do I boost productivity? How do I manage my time better with, having to care for the kids and clean the home and keep up on all of the things? And that's what we're going to go ahead and get into. I find that, oftentimes when I'm talking with mothers, whether it's like through coaching or just friendships, there are like three main themes of their frustrations or struggles. And it's usually, exhaustion, like just feeling tired, um, and feeling like they don't have enough energy to keep up on everything, or a lack of support. So, feeling like socially isolated, or not having friends or people to help them out. And then, oftentimes, some time management issues of just not knowing what to do, when, and how, to be able to be efficient and effective in their homemaking and motherhood. And, just like overwhelmed with it all, right? Because being a mom and a homemaker can be very overwhelming. There's a lot to do. There's a lot at hand that needs to get done, especially when, like, just the regular stuff without any hurdles, or without any, sickness or teething babies, or, diaper explosions, or any of those other things that can happen throughout our days, or, our mothering. um, it's hard enough and overwhelming enough for us to just get to the daily things, and then you add those, unknowns in, and it's just like I'm juggling all of these plates, and I'm going to drop it all trying to catch this one thing. And so I'm going to just offer up some practical tools and advice that I've learned over the last 16 years of, going and juggling, motherhood and homemaking together. And I think that oftentimes it is kind of a juggle. You're trying to do what is most important and what serves you and your family, the most, and then letting those other little things go, like I talked about before, just having realistic expectations. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share these tips and tools that I've learned to be able to just better manage our time and make it a little bit easier to, be efficient and effective in our homemaking and motherhood and juggling those hats. So, I want to go ahead and, introduce the idea of easy wins. Now, this is something, and it could be like an ADHD mom thing that I learned early on, that I, I have like devoured so many books and videos and podcasts over the years. So I'm not really sure where I kind of picked up this idea or if I just kind of made it work for me. But easy wins is setting yourself up for achieving like momentum and feeling like you're being productive and you're doing the things. So one of the things that I do to create these easy wins in my life is creating a to-do list. So, whether it's in my planner or just in a notebook, or I have this lovely large whiteboard, dry erase board that I like am obsessed with. It's fantastic for homeschooling, but also just like being a mom and a homemaker and having something central that I'm seeing. But I like to create a to-do list, and I will put easy things, guys, on this list. Okay. I mean, I drinking my coffee during Bible time. That's a check. Okay. Easy win. I'm doing something. It also helps you track what you're getting done, because I think oftentimes we're so tunnel visioned into like what we have to do, or just overwhelmed with all that needs to be done. We're not seeing the like all that we're actually doing, right? Like feeding the kids breakfast, easy win, has to be done. And we're being able to see how productive we're actually being. Nap times, put it on there. Working out, put it on there. Cleaning something, put it on there. Like put anything that you need to do on your list. I have certain things that I will do, like the room that I'm cleaning for the day, the meal that I'm gonna make, or any prep that needs to go into that meal planning, or any of those things that you're doing throughout your day or your week. Put it down on the list and then check it, because as you are checking it, you're going to feel successful. You're going to feel like you're being productive and you're doing those things, and you're creating those easy wins in your life that is going to give you the momentum and the focus and the energy that you need to keep you going. Not only is a to-do list great for creating those easy wins, it is also really great for just keeping track of what needs to be done. As busy moms, we can get really distracted by everything that needs to be done, or where we were at in our to-do list, or whatever it is. And so having something there, handwritten, or if you are a digital person and you would much rather use your phone for keeping track of things, or maybe you're just a minimalist and having apps on your phone is easier, I highly recommend the Bright app. It's like an all-in-one digital planner, and it'll be your like right hand sidekick, keeping track of things, holding you accountable, and helping you create those habits. But for me, I am just like a notebook and pen kind of girl, or like I said, on the dry erase board. And it just helps me stay focused on what needs to do. And like I said, create those easy wins. So now that we kind of introduced the idea of easy wins, I'm going to go ahead and get into the other productivity tips that I have. So mentioning like getting into a morning routine, I believe it was Liz who mentioned getting into a morning routine and just staying consistent with that. I find that having an evening routine will often, most of the time, like I am actually a huge believer. I think the nighttime routine is more valuable than the morning routine. And I have found more, like it's given me more help and clarity preparing for the next day, the night before, than actually the morning of routine is. And while I'm a huge advocate for both morning and evening routines, because it's setting us up for our day. Sorry, I keep hitting that camera. Having an evening routine where some of these easy ones that I'm talking about, I will lay out my clothes the night before, all the way down to the shoes, and I'll get to that in the morning routine. Why I do that, I will set up my coffee for the next morning, the night before. And a lot of people I know have Keurigs and those automatic coffees where you don't really need to prep it. I have one of the old school drip coffees because my Keurig died on me, which was rude. But I set up my coffee the night before so that way I know it's waiting, and it keeps me from staying in bed. Like, I know my coffee is waiting for me when I get up, and I will have it right away. It's not, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I have to go make the coffee and it's going to take forever and I'm not ready. No, none of that. Like, it's set up and it's waiting for me, which is inviting. And then some of the other things that I'll do are setting up breakfast the night before. So having an idea of what I'm going to be making the night before. If it's cereal, then I can just like leave that out for the kids so that they know that that's what's for breakfast. Or if I'm going to be making like pancakes or something like that, having everything in a central location, all ready to go, whatever I need, like the bowl, the whisk, all of that kind of stuff. While it is easy and it doesn't take very much effort at all to get that going in the morning, having it all out and ready for me in a clean kitchen, is just more inviting, and it's that easy win. It's going to motivate me to do it because I don't have to figure it all out and I don't have to find things or whatever. Like, it's all prepped. And it probably takes me about 20 or so minutes every night to set myself up for success in the morning. So that's some ways that you can create an evening routine, just to create some of those easy wins. Now, as far as morning routine goes, I find that spending time quietly by myself with my cup of coffee is actually the most valuable thing that I can do for myself as far as self-care goes. Me, my coffee, my Bible, and my prayer journal in the quiet really helps me just to be able to be focused and energized for the day. It sets the tone. It gets my head and my heart right. I let anything out that is overwhelming me or that I'm frustrated with or that I'm dealing with. And it also gives me an opportunity to practice praise and gratitude for any wins that I'm having, any celebration that I'm having. I'm able to visually see, because I am a visual learner, as well as just reinforce those things in my life. And I've noticed, because I used to be a Bible time at night person, and I switched probably about 6 years ago and noticed a huge difference in my day and my attitude and my tone. And again, we're setting the tones of our home, especially when our husbands are not there. It's just us and the kids. And so I find that is one of the most valuable things that I can do. Have that quiet time before the kids ever get up. So I do wake up around 6 a.m., sometimes 6:30 if I need a little bit of sleep and I went to bed till a little bit later. But I noticed that is my biggest like productivity hack, is just spending some time in quiet before everybody is getting up. And then, the day commences, children wake up, breakfast is being had, we're doing chores, we're doing morning Bible time, school, all of that. So if you want to learn more about like my evening routine or morning routines, how to set it up, how to take baby steps in it, I have a ton of videos here on YouTube that you can just go over to my channel and look it up, and a bunch of stuff will pop up. So that's the routines. Oh, and then part of the morning routine I wanted to say is getting dressed for the day all the way down to your shoes. This is something that I actually learned from the Fly Lady, and I've been doing for, I don't even know, like maybe 10 years, is laying out your clothes the night before, knowing exactly what you're going to wear all the way down to your shoes will help you be more productive and ready for whatever comes your way. And, because in the mornings, and doing this for your kids, huge time hack. I've seen recently, I just watched a video where a mom she gets her kid dressed the night before for the next day of school or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm not going to do that. I feel like how comfortable can it be sleeping in like jeans or whatever? But if it works for her, by all means, like, do what works for you. However, I do notice, like, and her point was, it makes mornings so much easier. There's not a bunch of time and emotion spent on getting your kids ready for the day. And so if you just it's same kind of concept, is just saving that time in the morning where you're having to find the socks or the other shoe, or I want to wear this, no, I want to wear that, no, I don't like the way this looks. Like, it just saves a lot of time being able to lay your clothes out, and again, it will help you be more productive and ready for whatever comes your way. And okay, so that was like the routines and everything like that. Another thing that I do in my morning routines is I will actually start a load of laundry. So while I'm waiting for my coffee, if I need to, like if I'm not up right at 6 a.m. And I'm coming down at like a later time, then I don't have to wait for my coffee. It's ready for me. But while I'm waiting for my coffee, what I will do is I'll throw a load of laundry in the washer. So that way I am already getting done. Like before I do anything else, I haven't even had a sip of my coffee. And I can do this blind probably at this point. Just throw a load of laundry into the washer. I know because I have a laundry schedule, which is another time like productivity hack for you is setting up a laundry schedule or routine. And this works for everybody, whether you are a mom of one or you're wrangling 7 kids like me. Having a laundry routine and a schedule will just help you make sure that everybody's laundry is getting done. There is no like, I don't have underwear or where are all the socks or anything like that. Everybody's laundry is getting cleaned on a regular basis. And because I have a family size of 9, I can't do everybody having their own day, but for the most part, like everybody has a day that they do laundry. Monday is our day. Tuesday is for my girls. They all share a room. So there's 3 of them. And then my younger 2 boys share a room. So that's the laundry. So it's more like by room than by person. But if that gives you some ideas just to kind of inspire you. And then Saturday is usually a day that I'm using for household laundry, washing our cleaning rags, bedding, towels, or any catch up that needs to get done. Because Sunday is my rest day. We celebrate the Sabbath, and so we don't really do anything unless we need to like catch up or get a head start on things. I'll start it the night of Sunday, but I don't do any laundry on Sunday. Very intentionally, and which is a blessing. So those are some things in my morning routine and how I create some productivity that way. Another way that you can be more productive is meal planning and meal prep. And this is something that I said earlier on that I absolutely love. Meal planning and meal prep. It saves me a ton of time and stress and also some money. And times are tight right now. We can save all the money that we can, right? And so meal planning, just spending some time, a little bit of time every week, planning out your meals, creating your grocery list is going to really save you a lot of time because no one likes 5 o'clock rolling around and you trying to figure out what you have on hand to be able to make, or even just like you're feeling tired, you don't want to have to figure things out, or oops, I forgot to take the ground beef out of the freezer, and it's just like frustrating trying to figure out meals at the end of the day. So having a plan ahead of time is extremely helpful. Like I said, it'll help with a lot of that like time, as well as the stress of trying to figure it out. And meal prep is a way to go like a little step further with meal planning. And so like one of the things that I will do is I will buy a bulk amount of meat because it is more effective and efficient for me cost wise to buy larger quantities. I mean, it is for anybody, and you can freeze and there's all kinds of ways that you can preserve it. And so I'll buy like 10 pounds of ground beef. It's like a huge meat log. If you've seen me on any of my videos or around social media, you've probably seen me share about this, but I will buy 10 pounds of ground beef. That is like a huge log. I'm not joking. It's a huge log of meat. And then I have my huge cast iron pan, and I will spend 20 minutes cooking up all of the ground beef. And then I will split it up by meals. Maybe I don't have, 3 or 4 meals with ground beef that week, but I can always put it in the freezer and save it. And then during the week when I am throwing dinner together or getting it together, I'm saving myself 20 minutes each time I would have to cook that meat. Same goes with like chicken thighs. You can bake them all in the oven, and then, maybe have some shredded up for tacos, have some for enchilada, whatever it is. Like we do a lot of Mexican food. I don't know if you caught on to that. But you can like split it up in different ways. Obviously, you don't have to cook it up all at one time. If you have recipes that you're going to just like throw everything into the Instapot, just spending time to like marinate or season it, throw everything together, spending a little bit of time on meal prep, cutting up vegetables, whatever it is, and getting those meals together will cut back on the amount of time that you're spending each night having to make dinner. It'll make it a lot easier. And then also you will have meals on hand in the freezer that for if some reason you get sick, you're not feeling well, or something is going on, somebody else can put dinner together or cook dinner, and it doesn't have to be you. I've also found by having kind of like a stock of meals, I call them grace meals, because it's giving you grace. But I also find that, when somebody is sick or somebody isn't, somebody's dealing with some stuff, or whether it's a friend or somebody in your community or church, that is a meal that you can go take to them. Like it's already ready to go, whether you cook it up or bake it or whatever, before you go and take it to them, or you just go and take it to them. I recently have a friend who is just kind of dealing with some sickness, and just she got hit hard with some strep throat. And I went ahead and I dropped off some frozen waffles and pancakes and stuff that I had made when I did like a bulk cooking session. I went and brought those to her, and that gave her the relief of not having to make breakfast the next day, right? And so not only can it bless your home, it can also bless other people's homes as well. So highly suggest spending some time doing some meal plan and meal prep, because it will save you time and stress later on. Okay, let's see. The final last thing as far as productivity tools go is cleaning routines and schedules and laundry. And so I know this isn't everybody's favorite thing to talk about, and there are so many differing opinions about cleaning schedules and routines and kids' chore charts and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to share what has helped me, and then if there's something that can help you, or you want to try it out, then God bless you in your endeavors. But like I said, there's a lot of differing opinions. What I have found that has worked for me, and I shared a little bit about the season I'm in, specifically, that I have a cleaning routine that rotates an area or a room by like it's a 2-week bi-weekly schedule. And I shared a lot of this on my channel. But if you don't know what I'm talking about and you haven't seen it, because you might be new to me, I have a 2-week rotation of rooms that I clean or spaces that I clean, and it's like a deep clean. So there are daily cleanings happening. Like I had mentioned earlier, I feel like I'm constantly cleaning up the living room. There's always messes to be picked up in the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen, and the basement where our kids' like play area is. Always messes to be cleaned up, laundry to be picked up, like those sorts of things. So I'm talking, I'm setting that aside, and I have a tip for that in a second, but I'm talking about just regular cleaning. I go through each room, the master bedroom, the master bathroom, this office space that I'm in, the boys' room, the kids' bathroom, the landing area is what I call like the top of the stairs. The kids do their own rooms, but I will from time to time, like help them or just mention, hey, gotta get in there and clean that up, right? And then the kitchen, the dining room, the schoolroom, and the basement. Like I know there's other areas because that's not 14 spaces, but I have 14 areas, so that's why I can do it in a 2-week rotation. And it just helps make sure and kind of deal with that overwhelm, right? Like I'm able to combat that overwhelm and the stress of like having to do it all in all of these dirty spaces by knowing that I can expect that I'm going to clean it, and by the time I come back through my rotation, it needs a deep clean. So it's been something that has served me well in this season. I used to do the Fly Lady method, and I found that, as my family grew, as my household chores and like homeschool and everything like that, it just wasn't serving me well. And so I switched over to this way. But I do really love the Fly Ladies method, and I learned a lot of what I do now from her. I've just morphed it, and I've figured out what serves me and what helps me take care of the messes and the cleaning in my home. And then as far as the kids go, I did mention I have children from the age of 1 all the way up to 16. So I have a range of kids that can do different things. Their abilities and the tasks that they're able to do are very different. My oldest daughter will help me with the kitchen. She does like an evening clean. And then like the other kids kind of share like the bathroom, cleaning up the living room and dining room and stuff like that. While I, and but like I have my toddlers even helping me clean up their toys, doing the daily pickups, or maybe it's switching the loads of laundry or getting the clothes out of the dryer, loading the dishwasher. It's not going to be done perfectly, and it's probably not going to be up to your standard, but it's not worth breaking their spirit over. And you're involving them. So not only are you teaching them how to do all of these things, but you're also occupying them. So you don't have to worry about other messes and things happening while you're doing this. And that really helps. If you have nothing but babies and littles, maybe you utilize their nap time to take advantage of like doing the deep cleaning and stuff like that. You can still, maybe you're in the kitchen. I'm thinking about my 1-year-old doing this, but you're in the kitchen and you're loading up the dishwasher, wiping things down, and your baby's tearing up your Tupperware cupboard. And just like going through, like you would be surprised at how much joy a 1-year-old can have with a pot and a spoon. It might be loud, but they are occupied, they are distracted, and you're able to get things done. So being creative with that, but just creating a cleaning routine and a schedule for yourself, and then including the kiddos, because there's a ton of tasks that they can do that is age appropriate, and what serves you in your home and what you want them to do is up to you. You have to figure that out. But just having a cleaning routine, cleaning schedule is extremely helpful. Again, I've taught a lot about this in all of my videos. So I want to go ahead and ask you, if you are here live and you have found this helpful, let me know down in the comments. I want to get as much feedback as possible. I want to know that I'm bringing value to you and that you're learning something. And then before I open up the Q&A, I want to go ahead and just share a mentoring opportunity that I have as far as group coaching goes. If you haven't heard about a mom coach or group coaching, it's where you have somebody come alongside you and just be able to uniquely help you, guide you, and give you the direction that you need. And maybe you just need to kind of like run through some things and figure out what is working for you, what's not working for you. Maybe you have a hard time figuring out the goals that you want or the outcomes that you want to have, or maybe that's all you know. Maybe you just know the outcomes that you want or the transition you want to go into, but you don't know how to get there. A mom coach or a coach is going to help you troubleshoot and figure those things out and guide you into those easy wins and getting you to the transformation that you're looking for. If you think that you are somebody that wants to have me come alongside them personally in an intimate kind of way, I am opening up my group coaching group session here coming up in 2 weeks. And it's going to be a very intimate group. So I'm only going to be allowing 20 people into this group so that I can best serve you and give you the value and attention that you're looking for and needing. And then that way you can also, coming back to that like isolation and feeling like you lack support, I have a exclusive Facebook group that is just for my coaching clients, to where you can kind of share and troubleshoot within the group. I can give you more one-on-one attention and helping you figure out what's working, what's not. You can build those relationships with other like-minded moms that will also be able to help you and inspire you, encourage you, uplift you when you're kind of struggling, and definitely there to celebrate with you. And the way that this coaching opportunity is going to look is, like I said, it's going to be a group coaching setting of no more than 20 people. I will close the doors at 20, and there will be a waiting list. So if you don't make the first cut and you don't make it into the first group of 20, there will be a waiting list and you can join at a later time, which I'm going to probably do after the holidays. But It is a 5-week course. So every week I will send you out a video pre-recorded that is going to be teaching you on these concepts. And then I will have a weekly meeting in Zoom where we'll all get together and we'll kind of just be able to implement the things that we're learning. Again, celebrate those wins that you're having, or just troubleshoot maybe some things, ideas, tips that you need to make it work for you individually. And then again, we will have that exclusive Facebook group open to you to create community and a place that you can kind of troubleshoot, like I said, and inspire and encourage each other, as well as get that personal attention from me where I'm checking in with you and I'm able to come alongside you and help you get through the any hurdles that you might have going through that. And so it's going to be starting in 2 weeks. If you're interested in joining that, if you think that this could be a good fit for you, that you would like to have a friend come alongside you and just encourage you along the way, then I will have in the link in the description sorry, to book your call. I have a link in the description so that you can book your call with me. It's a short 30-minute free session where we're just going to kind of go over your goals, what you're having trouble with, what you are excelling in or you're having success in, and just kind of figure out if I'm the right coach for you, if this is a right fit, and how we'll go about that in the coaching session. So again, it's a free booking or a free call that you can book now to save your seat before it fills up, because it is going to be a intimate group, so only 20 people. So now that I've kind of given you that opportunity, let's go ahead and open up the Q&A where you guys can ask if there's anything that you heard you want some clarification on, or maybe some specific tips. Again, part of the about the group coaching that I wanted to mention, because I had mentioned earlier that I am a devourer of books. Like, I've learned so much through reading books and listening to podcasts and videos. And while those are all wonderful, the beauty of coaching is that you get that specific answer to your questions in the context of your life, because maybe you only have 1 or 2 kids. Maybe you're in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a small place and you don't have enough rooms to clean, or maybe meal prep isn't your thing, or you need some guidance as far as meal prep or meal planning goes. And so that's the beauty of mom coaching. And I just want to go ahead and mention that, because I feel, books are wonderful, videos are wonderful, but they just don't give you that personal touch that coaching gives you. And so I want to go ahead and just make sure I clarify that. I'm trying to catch up in the chat, and I see a lot of the things you mentioned stem from pride. We think that we can do it all perfectly and on our own strength. Yes, that's true. Pride can seep its little way in and we wouldn't even recognize it. Waking up early before the kids is priceless. Yes, a lot of people don't like this, and I see it all over social media, the moms making fun of the morning routines. But those aren't my people. And again, do what works for you. If you want to sleep in until your kids wake up, then by all means do that. I know that I'm in a better mood when I wake up before them and I've had my coffee and my me time, and I'm not getting woken up to them, because it's like startling and frustrating. You're like waking up out of your sleep and you're groggy and you just don't have the best attitude. And so waking up before the kids, I've just noticed, does a lot more for me as far as my attitude and stuff goes. But I do understand, like, sleep deprivation and exhaustion is real. And that's, again, why I suggest having an evening routine, so you're able to prep for the next day, you're able to wind down, and having a set bedtime is super valuable, because then you can make sure that when you wake up, you're productive and you're doing all of the things, you're getting the sleep that you need. Because like I said, sleep deprivation is real. So having a set bedtime, even though you may have a nursing baby, or if you have been blessed with kids like me that don't sleep through the night until they're like 2 or 3, I'm still getting up, not as much as I was when I was nursing, but making sure that I have those 8 hours. So even if I miss like an hour or half an hour getting up with the kiddos and stuff like that, I'm still getting a good chunk of sleep versus if I'm going to bed at like midnight, have to get up every 2 hours or, even up for an hour in the middle of the night. And then I'm losing out on like I might maybe get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. You're just not going to be as productive and focused as you could be. So making sure you get those 8 hours of sleep is super important. I do understand that that's not always possible, but naps are a good thing. And I utilize the naps when I am like when I'm nursing and I have babies getting up through the middle of the night. Another tip that I did want to suggest that I forgot to make a note of is using a timer. So for those daily tasks that you have, the daily cleaning up, the daily pickups and just organization and things that you have to get done, setting a timer, and I do this for my regular cleaning too, but setting a timer. So let's say you start with 10 minutes, setting a timer for 10 minutes to do a task. So, hey, everybody, we're doing a living room reset. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes and we're going to race to see who can clean up the most. There is something in us. Maybe it's the child in us that we're just like, oh, we got 10 minutes. We got to bust it. Like we just got to like get those things done. And we got to make sure that we're beating the time, like see how much. When I first started this, it was like a time hack for people with ADHD. This is something that I've learned that setting up a timer, it will make it feel more like more able to be done, and you have like a small window, so it's not this like overwhelming thing that you have to do, and this idea that everything needs to be cleaned up, blah blah blah. So I started doing this and I realized, oh wow, I'm actually able to get a whole lot done when I understand that there is a time limit, and I'm racing the clock. And 10 minutes, you can get a lot more done than you really think. Even if you started with 5 minutes, just do a 5-minute cleanup. There will be a huge difference. And I did a podcast interview with Misty Winkler over on Simply Convivial. And she had said that one of her friends would take before and after pictures to show the kids. So I thought that was a great idea. Take a before picture, set a 5 or 10-minute timer, and then take an after picture, and you will actually be able to see how much you got done and realize like 10 minutes can make a huge difference. You do not need to spend an hour cleaning an area. Like even for my like deep cleanings, like for my bathroom or something like that, the kids' bathroom, 10 minutes will get pretty much the entire bathroom done. It may not be done perfectly, but it's like a huge amount. And when you're juggling homeschooling and kids or school pickup and drop off and all of these other things, grocery shopping, whiny babies that need naps and toddlers that are getting into things, when you're juggling all of that stuff, you might only have 10 minutes to spend on cleaning something, but you will, like when you have the right attitude and then you have the timer to race yourself, it is a really great way to get things done with a little bit of time, if that makes sense. So if nothing else that you take away from this, use the timer. Okay, so with that, I'm not seeing any questions. I don't know any more questions. I should say, I'm not seeing any more pop up. So I want to know, what tool did you take away from this? What thing are you going to implement to help you be more effective and efficient in your homemaking and motherhood? Or maybe it was like one of the verses that I shared you're going to think about. Whatever it is what is your takeaway from this workshop? I would love to know. And then in closing, I want to remind you, it's going to be a small, intimate group for the group coaching opportunity. So if you want to get in early so that you can save your spot. If you're not able to join at this time, then make sure just to get on the waiting list. And then I can give you that opportunity at a later time. Using the timer will be more helpful to me. Thanks. Great. Yes. This is something I actually recently shared with my mother-in-law too. And she started using it and was like, this is amazing. This is probably it feels like the most tangible, I think, for people to start. It's one of those easy wins. And so I hope that it blesses you and your home and you find great success with it. I'm excited that you like the timer tip. Okay, so yeah, it looks like It looks like that's about it in the comments. Again, just let me know down in the comments what your takeaway was. And I just want to go ahead and close. If you are watching this on the replay, if you're watching this at a later time and you're not here live, just know that if you comment, if you respond to me, I will get back to you. I will answer questions, and it just might take a little bit of time, but I will respond back to you. I promise. With 7 kids, it might take a little bit, but I will get back to you. So don't think that you're going unnoticed or unseen. And then let me see. Okay, so this part I might have to read a little bit because I didn't practice it as much as the intro. Okay, I want you to know that you are not alone, that you are loved, that you are enough, and you have support here. I am praying for each and every one of you, again, for your homes and families that you represent. I can't wait to hear about how this has blessed you, and your desire to grow in your skills will bless your home. This is surreal to me. I've been teaching on YouTube for almost 2 years now, and this is the first time going live. So this is a really big deal. And I am just so thankful for each one of you showing up, showing your love and engaging with me, and your grace as I might have been talking fast or lost my train of thought. You're just building up my confidence and giving me courage to do this more often. And I am thankful to you. I'm thankful for you taking time out of your day. I know a Saturday is not the best day to do these, but I feel like for moms, it's a little bit easier. You might be in your jammies still, but that's okay. No one can see you. It's just me. And I'm just so thankful to be serving you. I'm thankful that you saved time in your day for me and that you joined me. I hope that you feel inspired and encouraged to take on some of these tools for your own home. And I am so thankful to each one of you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting me. And I will see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.